Hi! Welcome back to Book to Tea and Biscuits with me, Jojo.
And me, Kim. And little Maisie.
And little Maisie's got down. We're going to be doing the November review, though we are slightly late. We're not going to say how late, but we are slightly late with it. And then we're going to tell you about the December review. If we seem a bit tired, it's because we were out last night.
An Abbott review concert, isn't it?
Yeah. Sweet Dreams, if you've ever heard of them, they are really, really good. I'm saying hello to Craig, the drummer. So we went there in Stourbridge at the River Rooms, and we had a nice time, and we got back, so we're quite tired.
Yeah, we're not drunk because we didn't have a lot to drink, did we?
No,
we're just tired. We got in about you get in about midnight or 1 o'clock, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to bed at 1:15.
What time did you get back then? After you dropped me?
I can't remember the exact time, but it's half an hour after I dropped you off back to us.
Oh right, so I must have got back just about 1ish.
Yeah, so 1:30 for
me.
So today's video is going to be a little bit different because usually we review, one person reviews and we go on to the next person, but because of how we've read these books, well, it's my fault mainly, I'm having to do the first 3 reviews and then Joe's going to do the other 3 because this book series is 6 books long and I haven't read the last 3, so Joe's going to do the review in a way that it doesn't spoil it for me. So yeah, so the first one is called A Murder of Crows, and it's kind of like an amateur sleuth detective, but she's not an amateur sleuth to set out. She's just an ecologist that happens to stumble upon something that she doesn't know she stumbled upon because of her nature of work. So what happens is the main character now is an ecologist and she needs to do a bat survey at this farm, and because she's managed to get the old blueprints for the farm, she opens this gate to a tunnel that she has to survey for about 6 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
And she has to cover it up in a way that it can't really be found by the public, but she doesn't know that when she's in the tunnel she hears a murder and she thinks that it's just, you know, some old bricks falling, but the next day a body's found, and because Nala's been the only one on scene and because of there's no other evidence there, she does get arrested for murder because people don't believe that it takes 6 hours to do a bat survey. Obviously she has to use her ecology skills to get herself out of that situation. One of her colleagues is called Aravindan. Well, his name's Adam, but his actual Indian name's Aravindan, so he goes by Rav for short.
Well, he does now,
He does now, he didn't then, but at the end of the book he does, because obviously Nell has to uncover her secret to him that she doesn't tell anybody, that she's actually Lady Eleanor Ward Beaumont, which is because her mum's like a MP and her dad is a Lord Hugh, isn't it? Hugo Beaumont, that's it. And she doesn't just tell people who she is because she doesn't want people to make judgment about her based on that title, so she just goes by Dr. Nell Ward. So when he finds out that he's been working with her, he's only been working with her for about 3 months, is it, at the time?
Something like that.
Yeah, so she hasn't told him that that's her title, and he has to find out in a horrible way. And then he has a bit of a hissy fit, and then they start talking again, and then he tells her that his name's not Adam, it's Aravindan. I actually don't really like the character Rav because he always throws his dummy out the pram when he finds something out about Nell.
The thing is, I think it's because of his home life.
Yeah.
And that they've always, even though they hadn't known each other very long, they clicked with the first meeting, as it were, and they got on so well, and he thought that she trusted him. He just couldn't understand why she didn't. It's different as the stories go on.
Yeah, I know.
So I did like him. The one I didn't like was the police officers.
James.
Yeah, I didn't like him. Two-faced.
I know, but then I think Rav is as well, because what right has he got to be angry with now when he was going under a different name altogether?
Yeah, but at least he come clean with it.
Yes, I know.
He didn't have to.
But he always throws his dummy out the pram when he finds something out about now when he's got secrets as well.
Yeah, but not that many.
No, but I just think that he's been a bit of a baby in this. I like him in the other books, but in this one I think that...
Yeah, but it's how the characters are developing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just about to say that character development in it, he doesn't get much in this one, does he? Just about him being her colleague. Because Rav is Indian, he's got this home life where his mum and dad is trying to set him up with an arranged marriage, and they always try and find him his girlfriend. Every phone call they have with him is about whether he's found somebody he loves yet, or about when he's going to come home because his mum wants him to meet this person. But the person he actually loves is now.
That's why he has the hissy fit, really.
I do understand. But yes, Nell has to get herself out of this situation, but there's all these implications along the way. Obviously with Rav, with her work, they fall out. The police officer who's questioning Nell, who actually starts, this is his case, is called Doctor, I was going to say.
It's Detective Sergeant at the time. Yeah,
Detective Sergeant. He actually likes her, and it does impede his questioning, so to speak. He has to be impartial to what he does and what he says because he likes her. So his what's the name?
Superior.
His superior, Val, has to tell him, you know, you can't let your feelings for the girl impede your judgment on the case. So I was reading the book and I did feel that they went a bit harsh on her because that there wasn't taking anything that she was saying as an ecologist. They were just, you know, you were there, you heard this is what happened, this is the evidence we have. But she kept saying this is how long the survey takes. There's no evidence because I didn't want to interfere with their habitat. These are rare bats, they're extinct bats, you know, it does take 6-7 hours.
She even tells them that they can contact
Yeah.
certain persons who obviously aren't dealing with this or aren't involved. So she advises them, check it up, you know, but they don't want to, do they?
No. They don't listen to anything she says. It's not until the last quarter of the book when she actually gets herself out of the situation, because she sees some evidence, they actually start asking for her help with it, don't they? Now, when I saw the title of the book, I thought it had relevance on the story. I kind of see that it does and it doesn't, because the rest don't, but A Murder of Crows. But because the person that's murdered is called Sophie Crows, it is a murder of crows.
Yeah.
Not crows as in a group of birds, but a murder of crows as in the surname of the person. So it does have a relevance, but it doesn't in regards to there are no crows in the book. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the other books, they do. Cast of Falcons does have bearing, because they're you know, coming across birds, owls and falcons and stuff like that, and the Mischief of Rats, though they're not in it for long. And it's the same with all these. The creatures are in it for a very short time.
Yeah.
They're sort of basically mentioned, or they're the main thing that they're dealing with at that time. Which is what I like about it, I think.
Yeah, but I think it could have been portrayed a bit more. It wasn't a lot, considering
Probably.
it's the title of the book.
Yeah, but I think you have to really, yeah.
The second one, I forgot to mention in this one, Nell is getting calls on FaceTime from her friend in Australia called Percy. And this book mentions Percy a lot more. So this book, after the revelations of book one, we are now on Nell's estate, the hotel and everything that she owns, and her best friend is getting married to. It's quite a short-lived marriage, not a short-lived marriage, but the engagement was really short, about 6 weeks, and then they're getting married, aren't they? So they're at Finchmere Hotel. Percy is getting married to Hawke. Percy's parents, Greta and what's his name?
Is it Alistair?
Let me just have a look. Sorry.
Because
I always do this. Yeah.
She's another titled person. It's Penelope, Lady Penelope.
Yes, but they call her Percy for short, don't they?
That's right.
Persephone, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Persephone, Lady Persephone. So yeah, I think it's Alistair and Greta are Percy's parents. They don't like Hawke because he, they see him for what he is, but Percy doesn't, because I think that it's a rebound relationship from her first boyfriend and fiance Hamish. So Percy's doing the whole family over. So he's a business tycoon, let's say. He runs casinos and he buys businesses, but he runs them into the ground. And
buys them cheap, doesn't he?
Yeah, buys them cheap, runs them into the ground, does them dirty, but takes all the money. And his parents see him for what he is, but he blackmails her parents, and yeah, it's not good. We find out some stuff about her mum, don't we? Well, at the end we find out stuff about both her parents, and I was quite shocked, to be fair. So, just going back to the actual story, what happens is Percy and Hawke are getting married. Throughout the marriage, throughout the wedding day, Percy's parents tell her that if she marries Hawke, she's going to be denounced, she's going to not get any estate, she's going to be written out of the will. And Percy, being the headstrong redhead that she is, she goes ahead and married him anyway. And then devastation happens, because there were 3 murders on that day.
Yeah, the wedding doesn't last
No,
long.
the wedding, what, 5 minutes?
The marriage lasts 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes, and then Percy actually finds out from some, not just from Nell, but from some secrets that Hawke's been hiding from his best friend, his mum's lover, his mum's friends, his parents' friends, what Hawke actually is like. She finds out all these secrets, and then she finds out that he's been holding mail from her ex-partner Hamish, that the letter was actually a love letter to her from him, saying that, you know, he did want to get back with her, he didn't want to stay. Was it in America, in New York for a long time?
Something like that, yeah.
Whereas Nell and Ralph were going through Hawke's room, they found the letter with Hamish's handwriting on, they found other letters, they found articles, they found memory cards and things like that, and it just turned out that he was blackmailing her mum because he knew the secret. He knew Nell's secret of the one she revealed in book 1, which I don't want to say what it is because you need to read it, it's so good. And yeah, so 3 people pass away, they get murdered, don't they? Because of Hawke.
Initially,
yeah. And I did kind of guess who it was from their reaction when they found the first body. From the way that person reacted, I'm like, it's you that's done it. And then my mind was turned. But then once we was getting the clues as to at the end of the book as to who the murderer was, I'm like, I knew anyway, so why did I change my mind? I guessed it was that person, did you?
I did, because at the very, very beginning, the first part of the story, you read that a man does a letter, like a suicide letter, and shoots himself because his business was run into the ground, and then you don't hear any more about that.
No.
So then when you're reading and you suddenly get little clues and you think, hang on a minute. So yeah, you can sort of work it out, but then there's a twist and you're thinking, hang on a minute.
Was it this person?
Yeah. So I do like that.
Yeah, because the suicide letter, you never hear of that person again. It was like foreshadowed the rest, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because again, Hawke bought businesses and ran them into the ground, and this is what this person was committing suicide over because their business was doing deplorably.
And the person who murders finds that out.
Yeah, finds that out quite early on, and their whole plan was to murder these 3 people. Well, it was initially to murder the first person, and when they found out that this second person was kind of sticking up for them, aware, defending them, working with them, or hiding what they were doing, they got killed too.
Yeah.
And then, why did this third person get killed? Do you remember what that reason was?
I think it was to do with the fact that they'd seen, or they thought he thought or she thought, the person who did the murders thought that third person was aware.
Yes.
And it was one made because that person wasn't aware.
Because he'd still written her into the will, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He wasn't like Percy's parents, but the murderer thought that he was aware of what was going on, and that's why that he was allowing this to happen. I know that we've kind of touched on things there, but we don't want to give too much away with saying who it is and who's murdered. But this one is really, really... I was intrigued for both of these. Wasn't you?
I liked from the first time I started reading them.
So this is on Nell's estate. She has to basically fight tooth and nail to get this wedding happen at short notice. And then, I forgot to mention, Nell gets into an accident, doesn't she? And Rav has to save her. She gets pushed into the Nye River, and she is saved, but then she has to work out who did it based on the evidence that they have, because the police aren't allowing her to work with them, but because of her work and what she does, and it's her estate and she knows every secret room and things like that, that they're allowing her to go through things, assist. What evidence has she got? What did she see at certain times? That kept me. I was like, oh my god, what's happened there? And I didn't think that they were both going to get out of the river.
Yeah, I've got to say it was.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So them two, love them. And then the last one I've got to review is A Mischief of Rats. So this one, again, is on the Finchmere estate, but it's about car racing. Well, the classic car racing. So the first chapter is about a Gullwing, isn't it? A motor that they've bought, done up, and it's quite a rare classic motor. Is that what it's about, or is it about?
It is because basically
it doesn't
they want to. It goes on electric. They've got it working. It's a very, very old car, and they've got it working as an electric car. And the idea is that if it goes really well, they're going to race it. If it manages to win, then they're hoping that they can get more vehicles, classic vehicles, changed over to electric. And they have a classic car rally at the estate every year, but this one is slightly different. Yeah,
so they have it's now time for the classic car rally. They're testing this one car that's been converted to electric, but they've got specific rules for the race and for the driver, haven't they? And he doesn't listen to them. He actually veers off and not crashes where it's a write-off, but he crashes the vehicle. And then you see that he's this obnoxious person, the way he speaks to people, the way he comes across, but his heritage and who his dad is why this person is so highly loved by people, but his dad isn't like him. He's not like his dad even. His dad's a nice person,
and he was a good
racing driver. And then we come on the next chapter. We come on to the scene where, because now he's an ecologist and now she's working with May, who's trying to preserve this pond area and get it to be like a natural scientific place of habitat and things like that, that one day they're working on there and they're trying to secure the pond water, the plants,
make it all clean,
and then they find
get rid of all the dirt.
Get rid of all the dirt, make it non-toxic, and then they find that there's been a car crash, and now again she's got her waders on and she goes into the water to try and see if there's a driver in there. May, who's working with Nell, is worried that she's not going to get this rating from the horticulture. I can't remember the name of the company that gives the grading to say that yes, this is like a natural, historic, scientific place of learning and education. So now May's worried about that, and then Nell finds out that the driver of the car is X person. Why has the car crashed? And she gets kind of pulled under the water to see if well, she goes in there to see if anybody's in the car, but she gets pulled under because of the waders, and then she sees the face in the car, but it's all swollen, it's all, you know, bloated, as you are if you're underwater, like your body's filling up with fluid basically. And then the police get called, and lo and behold, it's Doctor, I keep going to call him Doctor, DCI James Sharp, and again...
He's a DI.
DI, isn't
he's
it?
become a DI.
Yeah, DI James Clark, that's it.
Yeah. And his superior is the DCI now.
Yeah, so again, Nell recognises the person. When the police are called, DI James Clark is there. Obviously Nell's questioned, May's questioned, and it comes to light that they need to dig deeper, not into only the racing driver, but also the whole affair around the classic car racing, because they need to do a deeper investigation into like fraud and things like that. And then things come to light about somebody who works with Nell's dad called Lucio, I can't say, Monoretti or something like that, and something comes to light about him. It's a whole... this one, for me, didn't keep me as hooked as these two. I did like it, but I was a bit bored with the whole references to cars and things that.
She got locked in somewhere, didn't she? That's where the rats come into it, because a rat climbed over and they wanted to check over that she hadn't got Vahl's disease.
Yeah, and she has to do some exams under a microscope, doesn't she? And and then that goes deeper into the fact that this person who had all this water in their lungs and in their body had toxins or cells from different creatures that weren't in the pond where he was found. So he didn't die in the place where he was found, he died in a different place, and that just digs deeper into what happened. So again, she gets locked in somewhere, a rat crawls over her, and then
peed on her.
Yeah.
So they were worried about her, weren't they?
Yeah, it didn't, but I wasn't as gripped with this one. I preferred these two than this one. This one, I do give it 4 stars, I did like it, but these two get 5.
Oh, right.
So yeah, it's not about a group of rats, but they are briefly mentioned in it. I hope Joe liked these as much as I did.
I did.
But yes, I can't wait to read the other remaining ones that I need to read, really.
Right,
so I'm going to just hand over to Joe.
Ones I'm dealing with is a Trace of Hares. Now with this one, at the end of Mischief of Rats, somewhere around there, she's got this friend who, I think it was in the first one or the first one, she's known her for ages, and she lives in Wales and her parents have got a B&B. And she goes to dating sites and stuff like that. And she dated this bloke who's in The Murder of Crows, and he tries to kill her. And she meets Nell's mum's security guard, who is ex-SAS amongst other things, and he saves her, and they fall in love. And in this one, they're in Ireland because he's Irish, and they're going to get married.
Oh, I love him.
They're going to get married. And the reason it's called A Trace of Hares is apparently it means you're going to have a really good, fruitful life, very happy life, if you see a hare, because they're so quick, or they're in this beautiful place in Ireland where there's the view is out of this world. There's beautiful greenery and that, and woods and whatever, and him and his brothers don't get on. There's 3 of them, I think, and the one has lived in Africa somewhere, I think, and he's a spoilt brat, always has been, and he's not a nice person, and he's a meanie. And the brother that is getting married, the ex-SAS guy, he apparently when he was younger they all used to cause fights, and he was the worst. But now he's calm, he's different, he's focused, and he wants to go back. He takes them, and Nell's there and Ravi's there, and she's a brilliant conservationist, and basically her job, what she does, her profession. There's a young girl and she's doing a dig, and she asks Nell for some help, and they find a body. I'm not going to tell you more because it will ruin it for you. There is so much in this. It's not exactly funny, but it does end sort of nicely.
Okay.
But you do find out about the murder. You find something. This murdered person has been murdered for a very long time.
Oh.
But it's in a peat bog.
Oh.
So it's sort of
preserved,
and they find out. And Nell in this actually has to do a DNA. She does DNA on the people.
That's interesting, considering what's happening there.
She helps the police by doing the DNA, because the person who passed away was a bit of a goer.
Yeah.
And she had a child.
Okay.
And you find out who very good.
Oh,
very good. Yeah. A Trace of Hares. I'll actually read the synopsis. You know me, can't see a pig in pink anymore. A family wedding, an unsolved murder, till death us do part.
Okay.
Dr. Nell Ward is in the lush emerald green hills of Ireland to attend the wedding of two dear friends at a picture-perfect farmhouse. But family tensions are running high in the days before the happy couple tie the knot, and then Nell hears a fox kill a hare in the early morning, and the bad omen sends shivers down her spine, almost like it is a sign of something to come. When you got Nell and Rav together, you know there's going to be murder.
Something's going to happen, yeah.
And James is invited to the wedding because he made friends with the SAS guy.
Yeah.
And her cousin is going out with James.
Yes.
Remember, it's mentioned. Then one of the locals makes a gruesome discovery in a nearby peat bog. The habitats are famous for the ancient bodies they can preserve for thousands of years. This woman, however, died much more recently and was clearly a victim of foul play, but it was still quite a long time ago. Nell and her friends are suddenly in the middle of another murder case. Can they trace the truth to unmask a long-hidden killer and save the wedding before it's too late?
Oh, I hope so.
A Trace of Hares. I gave this 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Mind you, I gave all of them 5
Did
out of 5.
you?
Yeah.
My least
really
favourite one
them.
out of the ones I read is the Mischief of Rats.
I think once you read this,
it will bring everything together.
Yeah. So there's that one.
And
Generation of Vipers. I loved this.
Did you? That's my favourite colour, so I hope I like it.
I love this because again, they're doing counts, you know, and this time they're moving the viper, the snakes, from one area to another because they've got to. And again, there is a murder.
Now it's involved, yeah.
Yeah. But at some point, she's sort of stalked. Well, not exactly stalked, but she's kidnapped.
Yeah.
She's kidnapped, and she manages to escape. And I think because she's seeing James.
Okay.
Until, as we know, with Rav. But she had been seeing James, so he's like a really close friend to her now. And because she's been kidnapped, they're all worried. Rav's parents have been giving her a hard time, and when they heard that she's been kidnapped, they then get worried.
Yeah.
Because I think they like her really. They're just annoyed.
Cantankerous, aren't they?
I think they're annoyed because she's not Asian and she's independent, and they blame her.
She's got money, yeah.
Yeah, they blame her for Rav's accident, even though Rav was at fault. So I'll do the synopsis on this. Oops. A killer is hiding in plain sight, like a snake in the long grass. When Dr. Nell Ward stumbles across a woman's body amongst the purple heather on Furze Heath, she was on the lookout for nests of poisonous adders, so they're moving them about to areas where it's safe for them and they can flourish and it's not going to harm people. But something is lurking out here far more dangerous than vipers. A cold-blooded killer is on the loose, and this is not his first victim. As DI James Clark begins to investigate, a pattern emerges, pointing towards this being the work of a serial killer. Every victim shares the same physical characteristics, all of which are a match to Nell.
Oh.
So all those that have been murdered
Look like
had her look,
wow.
her colouring, everything about her. So it's aimed at her.
Yeah, she's next basically.
So she could just get kidnapped. As Nell is pulled into a tightly coiled mystery, she can't help feeling someone is tracking her every move. Can she unmask the murderer before they strike again?
Oh, I can't wait to read that one.
So again, you've got all the same people, near enough. Her mum and dad. You've got Rav. You've got
his parents.
Yeah, his parents, his sister.
Is Percy in that?
Touched on it, I believe, if I remember rightly, but no, not really.
Okay.
I think she's mentioned. I can't remember, to be honest. I was just focusing on
the story.
Yeah, it's really good, this one.
Oh,
it's really good.
Can't wait to read them.
Now, here in this one, she's the one that's being focused on. In this one, Rav.
Okay.
Somebody's stalking Rav because they're madly and passionately in love with him.
Oh wow.
You know the sort of person, a mad fan, because what
Obsession.
You're not kidding. In this one, her friend who married the bodyguard, they decided to open up. She left the company that she used to work for, and Rav left, and she's got her own business now with her friend, and it's to get her place, her parents' place, really opened up, everything natural. And they've got lots of people involved, like they have somebody who makes cakes from natural products, natural honey and no E numbers and all this, and you've got someone who's making wine, and everything's literally all natural.
Yeah.
And you've got a young girl who makes things out of wood. Like she'll make platters, and they use the platter at the cafe. So they're advertising everybody's, and people can go and buy from
And
them.
are they from the estate, like all the produce?
She's taken them on. They're self-employed, but she's taken them on because they want to open it out and make it really big. And they do like a blog sort of thing, a vlog. And they're videoing it, and it goes the YouTube thing. And Rav does most of the talking because Nell likes to stay back, so people don't realise who she is. And the guy who makes all the alcohol is very free when he's letting them taste it. He sort of, like instead of having a little taste, they'll have a massive glass full. One of the young girls gets
Taste my wares.
Yeah, one of the young girls gets absolutely paralytic. And they find one or two
How many
secrets.
tasters does he let her have then to get paralytic?
Just the one glass. She gets,
Oh.
because it's homemade stuff, you
Okay.
see. So and whiskey and wine and stuff like that. He makes everything, and he's very free and easy when he's giving people tests. They have to. Everybody who works with Nell, they have to test it, because they put it on their menu, like, if you're going to have this meat, this menu, it would be a good idea to have so-and-so's wine, and they're all in, it's like one big massive family sort of thing. And this other woman who runs it, she runs the vlog, as it were, and she does the camera work. And a murder is committed.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Now, the vicar, who's a female, she has these private meetings with Rav. For a reason, I'm not going to say why, but it's a nice reason. And she gets involved with people's lives. She really is a proper, what you would expect a vicar to be. She really cares about her parishioners. And if she sees them going onto the narrow, she'll try and bring them back. Not exactly blackmail, because that's not a nice word, but she'll say, look, you can't keep doing this, and she'll do a sermon which has something to do with what somebody's up to.
Yeah.
Like, she finds out that somebody's committing adultery, so she does a sermon She writes a sermon out and she's practising her sermon, and it's all to do with adultery, in the hopes that the person concerned will stop. So she does her best, but people get a bit annoyed with her because she's involved in all aspects of their lives.
Okay.
And it's the church where Nell was christened, where her mum and dad married, it's on their land. And Nell goes to see her about something and finds her body. So, it picks up from there. Obviously, James is there, and James is ex-DS, who had a hissy fit because she didn't think that James had been offish when it come to questioning Nell, and she was jealous. But she's now a detective sergeant instead of constable, and then she became a DI. So it goes on. There are several murders, but then it's found out because Rav keeps getting all these letters, loads and loads of letters, and then he comes, he opens his bag, his rucksack, they're going somewhere, and there's pictures of him. So someone's taken all these secret pictures, and they're finding things out, and they do something rather nasty, almost not quite at the beginning of the story, but almost at the beginning of the story, which brings James into it, which is why they find out that Rav has got this stalker. They set fire to Nell's house with Nell in it. So
she's very jealous then.
That the person who's doing it, because you've got all sorts of people involved, and they get to a point where they don't know who they can trust. Can they trust the people that are working with them? Can they trust, and the guy who's the mum's security guard, he's not really in it that much. He's in it a bit, but not a lot. And her friend who married him, they're in it a bit because they know how things are, and they're trying to help her and help the police at the same time. When Finchmere's first summer fate turns fatal, Nell has more than just a killer on to net. Since their YouTube channel, Following Finchmere, has taken flight, showcasing Dr. Nell Ward's sustainability transformation at her family's estate, it's her partner and colleague Rav who's become the star. Amongst Rav's fan mail and gifts, Nell makes the chilling discovery that one person's obsession... Nell realises the disguised peril has already wormed its way into the heart of Finchmere itself, and the path of destruction soon leads to murder. D.I. James Clark's and Nell's powers of observation are put to the test to detect the camouflage predator. With everyone as a suspect, who can Nell really trust when those she loves are in danger?
Wow. And are butterflies in the story?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the butterflies that actually help her solve the murder.
That's happened quite a lot.
Because they're very rare butterflies. They're only around in a massive cluster at a certain part of the day.
Okay.
And it's something that happens during an interview, and Nell's really looking at the interview, and she thought, hang on, there should be more of these beautiful blue butterflies than there are. So this interview was supposed to have been done at a certain part of the day, and obviously it wasn't.
Okay.
So they help her. It's a bit hard. She's sort of looking, when you look at something you think, oh no, there's something wrong with that. And it takes her a bit of a while, but yeah, this is really good. And it's like with all of them, they're involved somehow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of them happen like that though, don't they? Like the crows, the falcons, the
what I like
brokers.
about that one is she puts a snake in the car that she's been forced to drive.
Ah.
And she knows that it's in a container, and she knows if she goes over, if she drives really fast and awkward, the container will come off, so the snake will come out, and as long as she remains calm, she'll be safe. But the person who's kidnapping her.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's good. You'll love that. You'll love that. Yeah.
Really excited about reading now.
Yeah.
Joe's a quicker reader than I am.
Well, to be honest, I was quite poorly, so
you just laid and read.
I had to do something because it was horrible. So I just read the books.
I don't get a lot of time to read. Only like weekends or evenings really, and then sometimes because it's like November and December, I am. It's like my busiest time of the year, especially at work as well, because I'm not organising a Christmas party, and me and my other payroll person have got the tombola to do. We're doing like staff reviews and that. So I've been all over the place. So I've only managed to read them.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So shall we talk about next month?
Now, December's review. We were supposed to do these in July, but now we're doing them December because they're more December-ish, aren't they?
And because I was sick, weren't I?
Yes, you were. But it's best to do them in December because they're fairy tales. They're fairy tales with a massive difference.
Yeah.
So we've got Cinder, which obviously is Cinderella, and there's a prince in that, obviously, and Scarlet, which is
Little Red
Riding Hood. And there's a wolf in that. Well, it's a chappie called Wolf. and Cress is Rapunzel.
But in space.
Yes, she's in space, and there is a prince in that as well.
Yeah.
Who likes her a lot. And Winter is Snow White. And there aren't 7 dwarfs in it.
There is an evil stepmother.
There is an evil stepmother, yes, who is like a queen, and she's a nasty piece of work. She really is. And there is a prince in that, and the prince in that, obviously, you know, they all love the princes, and this one's a lot thicker because of war. You get the fighting and all the extra bits and pieces.
Can't wait to review them.
They really, really are brilliant books. So we're going to do
The Lunar Chronicles.
The Lunar Chronicles next.
And that'll be the end
for
of
this
December,
month.
won't it?
Yeah, that'll be the end of this month. No, next month. Oh, I've lost the plot, folks. I've lost the plot. It's going out last night, I think.
I know.
So we're going to be doing these the end of December for our review then, because it's Christmassy, and these are just perfect because it's pantomime season, and these are a bit more, a bit more involved. So very good. She doesn't just lose a slipper; she loses her foot.
And part of a bloody sanity, I tell you.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
And then I wanted to quickly show you something I've brought, because our plans are next year we're going to go to a few literary locations, and what I've got here is a map of literary locations across the UK.
I haven't seen this yet. This is the first time I'm seeing it as well.
So this is a literary map of literary locations across the UK.
Okay.
So it's got like Jordan College, got James and the Giant Peach, Soldier Island, McCarthy's Bar. If you know any of these, let me know. You've got Pemberley, which is Jane Austen, isn't it? You've got Wuthering Heights, Charlotte Bronte.
Have you got Anna Sewell?
What's that one called?
That'll be Red Wings.
No, I've got Brideshead Castle, I've got Baskerville Hall, which is Sherlock Holmes. What's the location of that one?
Red Wings is Great Yarmouth Way.
Swafford Hall I've got.
That could be, I don't know. It's called, Red Wings is the charity, and it looks after Anna Sewell's home, has turned it into a museum.
I've only got Dorcott Mill, Wuthering Heights, Wildcat Island, McGregor's. You've got Lochtool, and then you've got like some in Ireland, some Mossy Flynn's Glass House. You've got some ships. You've got the Lighthouse. Mary Poppins is there, and you've got the Flying Dutchman. So we're going to be looking at some of these locations. With Lad Extras, obviously, as Joe's mentioned, you've got like Anna Sewell, which is Black Beauty, isn't it? Yeah. So we're going to just play like little games next year and decide where we're going. So I brought this from Jenny Green Illustration. Obviously it doesn't include every literary location across the UK, but some of the most popular ones. So if you want us to go to a certain location that you like, what we're going to do is we're going to try and do the Midlands first, because that's where we're based, and then work our way out, or north or south, because we've got a lot more north than we have south under us, because we're like here in the middle. And also we've got a few National Trust places to happen to go to, because I've got the postcard and the passport for that as well. So that's just what I wanted to show you for that one.
Good.
And that's everything I wanted to mention. Anything you wanted to mention?
We are going to go to a Christmas market.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the one in Sutton Coldfield today and have a little mooch round and see what's what there. We were, or I don't know if we still can, going to go to one or two, weren't we?
Yeah.
We still might.
We still can. Just need to distinguish whether we travel there, whether I drive there or whether it's best to go on public transport, because going into Birmingham in this kind of...
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, especially when it's German market traffic, it can take nearly an hour to 2 hours. Somebody was telling me this morning that they were driving from Coventry to Birmingham, it took them 3 hours to get there. So I'd rather just, whether it's affordable to do it via train. I know time is free, but time also to me costs money as well. Mm-hmm. So we're going to just weigh up, would we rather spend the price of a train ticket than spend an hour or 2 hours in traffic losing our minds?
It's not just that. I mean, even if we didn't go to the Birmingham Christmas market, if we went somewhere else that we'd never been before, we're not going to know about the parking. Exactly. So it might be easier to go by train.
Yeah.
And go there. So
that'll be good. Yeah, so that's our plans for next year. We've got one more video coming up for this year, and then we'll try and do a mini Christmas, not even a review, but just a mini Christmas video wishing you all a very Merry Christmas next month, and a Happy New Year. And then we're going to go through with you what our plans are and what our book choices are for next year. So we might not have them all, we might just have, I don't know, one per month and then one random. We haven't decided yet, but we will discuss that with you in the next video, okay? Because we'll be kind of doing that over lunch, won't we? Over a Christmas dinner, so that'll be good. We hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and we hope that if you do get any of these 6 books,
that you will
really enjoy them. I just think I'd like them because I picked it up thinking, they're just going to be educational ecology things, but they're really good. They're like Agatha Christie-esque, aren't they? Without being too...
Sarah Yarwood-Lovett is
an ecologist.
She is, and that's where she... And what I do like about these books, and we haven't mentioned, which I'm going to mention now, is it gives you the nature of crime about the particular one that you've read about, and how the creatures in that, how they've helped. Apart from it's glossed over obviously in the story, but she goes into a bit more detail of those creatures, what they're like and how they've helped. And I like that she does the nature of crime and how the ecology side of it has helped out, and the different, you learn a bit as well, you do, which is really good. That's I do like about that.
I like that as well. So thank you for watching, guys. Again, please comment down below if you've got any book suggestions. Leave us a comment or a message on Facebook, which Joe runs, or Instagram, which I run. And then if you just want to have a chit chat as well, or ask us any question within reason, please go ahead and feel free to engage with us as well. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Bye.